Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Scott County community is in mourning after a traffic stop leads to a sheriff's deputy losing his life. And the Corbin Fire Department becomes the first location in southeastern Kentucky to have a safe haven baby box to give babies a second chance at life.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
It's Tuesday and it's 6:30 here, Monday 2.0. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning to you. It's actually my Monday because I was off yesterday. Let's take it on over to Brandon for a look at that forecast. Brandon, I had a great weekend. Thank you for asking.
I did too. Thank you for asking.
We've already talked about your weekend and my weekend.
That's
and
true.
Me going all over the great state of Tennessee and then back to Kentucky.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a nice weekend except for the rain on Saturday. But you know, you win some, you lose some.
That's true.
Exactly. All right. No rain today though. We're looking at some fog out there this morning. Maybe few clouds later on today. Looks like we can see some fog and a few clouds both down there at London along I-75 this morning. 54. Not much traffic earlier this morning on the interstates, and you'll see 48 Clintwood to 63 in Logan. Those really haven't changed in the numbers much. Grundy getting close to the 40s there at 50, and then we're watching, of course, Manchester, Irvin, Hazard, and Jonesville. I don't think they'll get into the 40s, but at least they're the closest to falling in the 40s at low 50s there at 52. So we'll just kind of keep an eye and see how it plays out for us. Day planner, we're heading up. Some few sunshine mixed with clouds, and it's just going to be a very nice day out there. Maybe a sprinkle in some of those western counties later this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on it, keep you posted. 79 an official forecast time. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. A sheriff's deputy was killed in the line of duty in Scott County yesterday. Scott County Sheriff Tony Hampton confirmed Deputy Caleb Conley was shot in the line of duty during a traffic stop along I-75. It happened at a rest stop at the 127 exit southbound. The suspect was able to flee from the scene. Police say they have arrested someone in connection with the shooting. The sheriff says Deputy Conley worked hard to properly serve his community.
He was a damn good deputy, and he loved his job. He took it very serious, and he's out there today doing his job. And look what happened to him. A coward coming through our county on I-75 took his life.
Well, this was the scene Monday evening as officers from across the region unified for a procession taking Deputy Conley from UK Hospital in Lexington to Frankfort. Officers rushed to the hospital immediately after hearing Conley had been shot and was taken there. When they learned he did not survive, they still stayed with him. Of course, we'll keep you updated on this investigation on WYMT.com. And we've unfortunately seen this kind of tragedy recently here in eastern Kentucky. Back in October, London police officer Logan Medlock was hit and killed by a drunk driver. 36-year-old Casey Bird from Tennessee was charged with murder. His case is still moving through the courts. And late last June, 3 officers and a police canine were killed in an ambush attack in Floyd County. Prestonsburg Police Captain Ralph Frazier, Floyd County Sheriff's Deputy William Petrie, Prestonsburg Officer Jacob Chaffins, and Canine Drago were all killed. 4 other officers were injured. Lance Stores was arrested for those crimes, but later committed suicide while awaiting trial. A large crowd gathered around the Kentucky Conservation Officers Memorial on the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife's campus in Frankfort yesterday. The group was there to honor 10 officers who have died in the line of duty. Lining the brick pathway are 7 of the officers' portraits etched in stone. Each one depicts their age and how they died. Rich Storm, the commissioner for the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, says there's nothing more important than remembering those who dedicated their life to the safety of the community. He says people do not often think about conservation officers being in harm's way.
We encounter a lot of interesting situations, from high-speed vehicle chases and a constituency usually that has guns or bows, etc. And just frankly, today we have a lot of things that we didn't encounter in the past, from drugs, and so our officers are committed and they're highly trained.
Since 1918, the department lost 10 of its conservation officers. Over in Whitley County, a grand jury indicted a babysitter on abuse charges. 53-year-old Charlene Lowe is facing counts of first-degree criminal abuse of a child and wanton endangerment. She was charged back in March. State police say Lowe was babysitting a 2-year-old boy for a week while the boy's mother was working. They say after the boy was dropped off at his mother's work, he was taken to UK Hospital Investigators say he had several bruises and a footprint on his abdomen. In an interview with police, Lowe claimed the injuries came from the boy falling out of bed. Crews continue to battle a fire that kept flaring up at Crow Tire and Battery here in Hazard yesterday. The fire originally broke out Sunday night, reigniting again Monday morning, and first responders returned to the scene around 5:30 last evening to battle the fire that rekindled once again.
We're just having a hard time with all the tires in the building. You just can't hardly put them out with water, and there was an estimate of 4,000 tires is what an employee told me. So we're just having a hard time keeping them out. We'll get them out and think we're in good shape, and then 2 or 3 hours later it's back going again. So
firefighters say they are continuing to keep an eye on the situation. They say the cause of the fire cannot be determined due to the extent of the damage, but the business is working to salvage any equipment it can from the bottom part of the building. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. A traffic stop led two southeastern Kentucky police departments to an unexpected discovery on Saturday. Following a traffic stop on 2 drug trafficking suspects, the Corbin Police Department and the Whitley County Sheriff's Office received enough evidence to search a home in the Gordon Hill Pike area, leading them to discover numerous illegal drugs and an excavator that was stolen from Hazard. Officers say they believe the suspects were using the machine for personal use.
That was, mind-blowing for us, but he'd been using it on the property as well and had it there for, it seems to be quite some time. I mean, large equipment, we've had some thefts in the area of it, but, not to have it right out in broad daylight in our city.
Police have not yet released the names of those who stole the excavator, but they say they were arrested on drug charges. For several years, the Corbin Fire Department has been working with St. Joseph London Hospital to put a safe haven baby box inside the fire station. And yesterday, that idea finally became a reality. The safe haven baby box at the Corbin Fire Department is the first baby box to come to Southeast Kentucky. Those behind the project say the box serves as another tool to prevent child deaths and help give children a second chance at the life they deserve.
Any parent that needs to know their resources in Corbin today, tomorrow, next week, there's a 24-hour hotline number on every one of our boxes. It's on our website. You can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and talk to a licensed counselor. And that's very important because we need to be giving these parents options, not telling them what's best for them. So we're going to give you an adoption plan, a parenting plan, or a safe haven surrender plan.
When a parent chooses to leave their baby in the safe haven baby box, the fire department is notified that a baby has been dropped off. The department will then take the baby to the nearest hospital before the baby is turned over to CPS to be placed with an adoptive family. May is Stroke Awareness Month. The CDC says every year 800,000 Americans have a stroke. Well, this morning we helped share the story of a University of Kentucky doctoral student who suffered a series of rare strokes last year. But thanks to alert friends and the quick care of doctors, he's now back to his passion, making music, which is now also serving as therapy. Amber Philpott has that story.
It's the soundtrack of his life, and for Adiel Nara, playing trumpet is sort of in his DNA.
I tried other instruments, and I was actually better at other instruments, but I was pretty determined I wanted to play trumpet.
For Adiel, a UK doctoral student, the determination to master the instrument comes from watching his father, a retired band director, play his entire life.
From day one, it's been a part of my life, so I've wanted to explore it, the area and see where I can go, and I've thankfully reached great heights.
But last April, at the age of 25, the music stopped for Adiel after he felt extremely fatigued and wasn't acting right.
Thankfully, I'm still thankful to this day that my band director at the University of Kentucky and a couple of my friends finally took me to Good Samaritan.
Doctors determined Adiel had experienced multiple strokes and rushed him to UK, where he underwent brain surgery.
With his location of his stroke, the swelling was starting to compromise his brainstem, which is basically the motherboard that connects the brain to the rest of the body. Adiel had it's a stroke due to a dissection or a tear of the inside wall of the artery.
Neurologist Dr. David Dornbos says Adiel's most dangerous stroke happened in a part of the brain near the base of the skull that is crucial to movement, balance, and motor function.
This type of a stroke, this type of an injury is relatively rare. When we tend to see it in younger people, typically in their 20s, 30s, maybe 40s.
For Adiel, now a year later, the entire ordeal is still a blur.
I don't remember that time really specifically. So to me, it's like I wake up almost every day and it's like, oh, I feel like a normal report, like nothing ever happened to me. So.
Adiel's family credit Dr. Dornbos for saving their son's life. Dr. Dornbos calls Adiel remarkable after seeing him work through all of his therapy. And now, just over a year later, Dr. Dornbos is happy to hear Adiel hit all the right notes again.
His fine motor movements that's required to play trumpet, I've always told him, he's doing his own occupational therapy.
And for Adiel, his life is moving right along like those notes on his sheet music, thankful to play again.
When I get to share my gifts that I've been blessed to have with other people, no matter what the setting is, that's something that money can buy.
That was Amber Philpott reporting. Adiel performed with the UK Wind Symphony just 5 months after his series of strokes. He's on track to earn his doctorate of musical arts in trumpet performance next year.
.641 here on this Tuesday morning. We take you downtown Whitesburg. Not a whole lot going on there. 57 this morning as you head out the door. And we're going to continue to see some light traffic and the fog trying to move out for the sunshine. 48 Clintwood, 63 in Logan. But you see a lot of low to mid 50s out there. Just a few 60s left over. But again, temperatures not moving a whole lot this morning. Out the door forecast features a mix of sun and clouds, and we'll see temperatures climb into the upper 70s later today. Some sprinkles possible in the western counties. We'll keep an eye out for those and keep you posted. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. It's 6:42, still to come here on Mountain News this morning. Runners and organizers with the Boston Marathon mourn the loss of a man whose story inspired people across the country. Stay with us. That's on the way next.